Hello to my Capricorns. All right, Capricorns, let's get into it. Let's see what kind of week you're going to have coming up. Let's do it. Take only what resonates with you. We are still in a new moon phase. Technically, the moon is a waxing crescent moon. So we had a new moon in Aries on solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, that is. So it affects your head, teeth, tongue, and arteries. And so a modern day ritual would be to, if, because Aries rules first house, right? We're not talking about any Aries that you know. You can have Aries in your birth chart. So when I toss out zodiac signs, I'm also making reference to what house it rules, okay? So like you all rule 10th house. So this is for my cross watchers as well, who's trying to learn about houses, the zodiac signs rule houses and all those things, and how you can apply it to learning your own birth chart, right? So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. But Aries rules first house. That's the house of personality, temperament, appearance, self-image, first impression, self-awareness, outlook on life, right? So that would be people's first impression of you, right? When they see you, people have a first impression of you. When you see them, they have a first impression of you. People have been having a first impression of you your entire life. You, your family, your friends, the circle you hang out with, first impression, right? Whether it's right, wrong, whatever, right? Some people could have been wrong about you. Some people could have been spot on. So how that ties into a new moon in Aries, meaning a new moon, new you, is if you were wrong about someone, since Aries energy is directed outward, you could, and if they're still in your life, you could initiate a conversation. You're a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are initiators. You're a cardinal sign. Cancer's a cardinal sign. Libra and Aries are all cardinal signs. You could initiate. They symbolize like springing forward. You could initiate a conversation and saying, hey, it was wrong about you. My first impression of you was X, Y, and Z. I can admit when I'm wrong, so on and so forth, whatever. Let's hit a reset button. You have no control over them initiating a conversation. Remember you all are ruled by Saturn. Saturn is a very mature and authoritative sign. That's how you can close out a cycle. Right? That's if you want to. Moving forward, right? That's if you want to. You don't have to. We're all of free will. And then of course you'll have some energies who will never close out a cycle. So you're gonna have to close it out in love. You just have to close it out in love. You take the high vibrational and just close it out in love, right? Send out a prayer and close it out in love. And that's just gonna be the end of that. That's going to be the end of that. You have no control over what people think. You have no control over what people say. None of those things. Remember, you all rule 10th house. And 10th house is really about your inner calling, right? That's the career, life goals, achievements, public image. That's the masculine, the social status, fame. Sometimes you really don't know how people really, really feel about their first, their first impression of you and your loved ones until you really answer the call in your life. Then that's when it all comes out. That's when it really all comes, how people really feel. So that's when the secrets of how they feel about you or loved ones are exposed. So there we go. There it is. So yeah. My community wants me to thrive. This is very important because the opposite of thrive would be to die or wither. That's important, right? To thrive, right? So let's get into it. Let's get right into it. Let's get into it. All right. Let's see what kind of week you all are going to have. So, like I said before, I'll give you all some tips like I've been giving everybody else tips for the throat chakra, just in case. So if you watch any of the other videos, because maybe your moon or rising or whatever is a different sign, then you may hear some of these same tips. But the moon will be moving into Taurus. Some of you all may have a moon in Taurus, and then it's going to move into Gemini. Some of you all may have a moon in Gemini, then it's going to move into Cancer. Some of you all have a moon in Cancer. So I already talked about moon in Aries. So when the moon moves through Taurus, it affects your neck, your vocal cords, your throat, your thyroid glands, right? So the moon in some of the ways that your throat chakra, right, is to practice kind communication. Practice kind communication. You can also journal or talk through your feelings through journaling, right? Maybe it could be letter writing. You know, if you don't feel comfortable talking, you know, it could be letter writing or journaling or whatever. You can also try affirmations. You speak your truth freely and clearly. You can also sing and chant, sing or chant. Some people have like take like online vocal lessons or whatever for free. You just like pull up the YouTube, whatever, sing, chant, whatever. You can also practice mindful listening. That's truly hearing others. Encourages balancing two-way communication. It also teaches you when to speak and when to hold space. You can also wear or visualize blue, right? Wearing blue clothing, visualize a spinning blue wheel, or at your throat, or meditate with blue crystals. You can use blue crystals, which include sodalite, lapis lazuli, or aquamarine. You can also place them on your throat during meditation or wear them as jewelry. You can also try breathing exercises. That's deep, slow breathing through the nose. It helps calm and activate the throat. Lion's breath is also good. And then also, you can also hydrate and nourish. Drink plenty of water to keep your throat physically healthy. Herbal teas is also good with honey, ginger, or licorice. Root are soothing. So yeah. All right. So that would be sort of a modern day ritual for you. But bottom line is, as you close out cycles and you're learning how to balance things out, is that first house, which Aries rules first house, is learning to be assertive and not aggressive, right? Being structured and authoritative, not aggressive, feeling like your back is against the wall, so you got to come out with a blowtorch. So going to your manager's office asking for a raise, it shouldn't be where you feel like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders, and then, all of a sudden that you feel like the tower is falling on you. So now I have to take action. I have no choice, because now I feel like I'm drowning, right? I feel overwhelmed, right? It's like if you practice on a regular basis, that's why this week, first week for the new moon, is so important to get your rest. So, all right, let's get into it. Talking to you wherever Capricorn is in your birth chart. Let's go. First card of the deck is the Two of Cups, saying soulmate. But these are both of your hands. These are your hands. This is duality, right? Soulmate. You are your soulmate, because you know what your soul needs. That's your moon sign, right? You know what works best for you to pour into you, right? Here's the Hermit card, right? So you were enlightened when in hermit mode. You were a light came on within you while you were in hermit mode, right? So hermit mode, you get messages downloaded to you from source, from the creator. Hermit mode, for just you, anybody. That's where you gain your inner wisdom from the teacher. The teacher is source. That's it. The teacher is source. That's it. The source, the living water inside of you. That's it. The living water, right? Of what nurtures your spirit. The teacher is source. That's how you learn. That's how you learn. You're like, okay, I'm getting wisdom from source of really what nurtures my spirit, what feeds my soul, right? What feels good, my desires. Who wants me to really operate in my north node? Who really, really around me wants me to thrive? Who really wants me to thrive? I'm so clear, like clear is water, like clear water that I can drink. That I can, I mean, tomorrow I can drink the water, clear water that I can actually drink. It's no poison, nothing. It doesn't appear to be. It's not giving the impression that it's clear water. I can drink this water. It's clear water that I can drink. The living water. That I came here for a purpose, and Source wants the best for me. Wants me to operate in that, right? So here we have the King of Cups here. So remember, this is all genderless. All of this is genderless, right? Yeah. But who wants the absolute best for me? My community, whatever your community is. I don't know what your community is, right? And you'll see it in. That's why I say, like, some of you all have worked in offices where you keep going back to. This is what I'm picking up for somebody. But somebody just keeps going back asking for clarity in, like, okay, the expectations in the office, and you keep getting steps are being missing. The steps are missing, right? And you keep going back for clarity, but you almost feel like something's wrong with you that you're asking for clarity. There's nothing wrong with you, right? You can ask as many times as you need to until you are clear. Until you are clear, right? Because somebody wants you to thrive. If you're part of a community, that means if you're in the office, whatever community you're in, if they want you to thrive, if you need to ask 1,000 times until you gain clarity, where people don't see you as competition because they feel like you're a part of a community, and the whole if you thriving, I'm thriving, we all thriving, then that's the community I want to be a part of, where we're all clear. That's what Source is saying. You have a light came on for you in hermit mode. Yeah. So it's time to add structure and authority to something, right? So this is balanced out. Something is, balancing somebody out. And this is first house. This is first house. This right here is first house. Right? This is first house. Right? This is first house. This is sixth house. So your first house and your sixth house. Sixth house is about health, work habits, daily routines, fitness, pets, service to others, diet, spiritual practices. All of those things. A light came on for you about structure and authority. Right? Balance. Being in divine feminine energy. We talked about divine feminine energy. A healthy balance of divine feminine, divine masculine energy. That's what this is. A balance. Where you're not looked at as less than or equal. Or less than or greater than someone else. Is balanced. You're balanced out. So, yeah. So I feel like somebody has, at this point, like you know how you're built, you know how you're structured, you have an innate spiritual understanding of things, of just how you are structured, how you are built. Again, you're not slow, something is not wrong with you. If you need clarity, you need clarity. That's everybody. That's what the clairs mean, like clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, clairaudience. If you feel like you misheard something, or you heard something and you want clarity, okay, I want to make sure I didn't hear whatever you communicated. I want to make sure I heard you right. So I need clarity on what I heard. That's communication. I want to make sure I heard you right. I just need clarity. Right? I don't need confusion. I don't need confusion. That's dark magician energy. Dark magician energy. There's only one way of the highway. There's only one way. That's dark magician energy. No, I just need clarity. Yeah. So, and compassion. I need compassion, right? Not ruthlessness, right? So you're freeing yourself from that. So some of you all are making some changes. Some of you all are making some changes. Some of you all are making some changes, right? Here we have the Six of Cups here. Whenever I see the Six of Cups, it's like a baton is being passed. Like a lot of you all have inherited a lot of gifts from your ancestors, a lot of spiritual gifts from your ancestors. You're getting a lot of downloads. Like the light has been turned on, just like the gifts that you've inherited from your ancestors in terms of creativity, in terms of your creativity. And you're just starting to remember a lot of things and just how you receive, you know, how you receive messages, how you receive communication. So here's a Nine of Wands here. Here's a Nine of Wands here. So some things you're not going back to. So it's not always in a physical sense that you're not always going back to something. So I'll give you an example of this. So let's say, for instance, you say to a manager, I just need clarity on the project. The manager says, you know, I hired you because I thought you were gonna, you know, I hired you for this position, or you whatever your title is, like maybe you have upper level position or whatever. I hired you for this position because I thought you just get it. Like it almost comes across as condescending, and you're just asking for clarity, right? At that moment, because as we're seeing fire here, it's almost like there's a divide here. Okay, no problem. From that point on, that's where your water needs to be somewhere else. That's where you now asking for it in writing. Now you're asking for it in writing because you want to make sure whatever they're typing, there's no steps are missing. You don't want a misunderstanding. Now it's another form of communication. You're adapting. You're just pouring your water in a different cup. You're learning how to adapt because you're determined. That's where you're determined. You're saying, okay, I'm determined. I need to put my water in a different cup. I'm determined to get clarity. I'm determined to get some clarity here so I can do the shadow work. Because you see it, you have a window of opportunity, a huge window of opportunity to lie ahead for you. This right here, tons of opportunity. So that's where the creativity, you create space. You create space to learn the lesson. This is Mercury retrograde. Because Mercury just in general is messenger planet, but it's also the knowledge and learning planet. It's also the knowledge and learning planet. So you learn a lesson. Okay. But ask this particular person, they already to something else. Maybe they're having a bad day. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had a bad day, whatever. So I won't ask that question again. I just came for some clarity. You know, a blowtorch came out. All right, got it. I'll just ask you via email next time. Because I'm determined to get an answer because I don't want to turn in something that's going, you know, whatever. So. But that's what I'm seeing for somebody. You just being a part of something that really wants you to thrive, right? Because you're not a fool. You know you're not a fool. You know you're not slow. Nothing's wrong with you. But you don't want to be in any environment where you just feel like there's a divide. There's always some kind of friction. You need two dry things rubbed together to start a fire. So, yeah. So, somebody could be moving on to another job. Somebody could be moving on to another job. Mm-hmm. Where you don't feel demonized. Where you don't feel like you're carrying the burden of feeling like you're being bullied for something. Somebody's carrying somebody's, some kind of a burden on your back for something. And with all of this fire here, somebody's being talked about. This is 3, looks like lips. Somebody's being talked about behind their back for some kind of expansion here. For expanding. Taking a leap of faith and expanding. So, all right, let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, there's a lot of water and fire here. So somebody may be dehydrated. Somebody could be dehydrated. You may find yourself like, dry mouth or whatever. But again, the moon moving through, the zodiac signs. First moving from Aries into Taurus, and it affects your neck, your vocal cords, your throat, your thyroid gland. I did give somebody some tips for your throat chakra. Then it's going to move down to Gemini. That's your shoulders, arms, hands, bronchial tubes, your lungs. Gemini is an air sign ruled by, so first of all, Taurus is ruled by Venus, right? So you could have Taurus in your, moon in Taurus. Somebody could have a moon in Gemini, but Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is retrograde until April 7th, I believe. Yeah, here we have the 10 of Wands. Yeah, that's what you and somebody have. You and somebody who are not, you and somebody who are separated. You all are like separated by distance or something, have both been bullied. Burdened by something. People talking about you behind your back. And again, it kind of sort of goes back to North Node. North Node. Finding your star, finding your purpose. And your North Node. Is the Emperor card. Where you finally had to add some structure and authority to it. Right? Not aggression, but add structure and authority to something so that you can finally just move on. You can finally just move on. Yeah. Well, somebody was being bullied, being used as a pawn, some kind of abusive relationship. Some things may have been stolen from you. People were just winning at all costs. It was like all heck was breaking loose. And that's what you and somebody have in common. That's what you and somebody have in common. So it pushes you into hermit mode. It pushes you into hermit mode and just really just kind of to reassess, how to receive, familiar spirits, because that's what this is. That's what this is. Being surrounded by familiar spirits. People, and y'all can look that up online. Look up familiar spirits online. How to handle familiar spirits. Y'all look it up. It's tons of material. While y'all getting rest this week, look up familiar spirits. There's tons of material out there. There are tons of they're bullies. People who just surround themselves with just like planting and, putting themselves in spaces to stress you out. They do stuff like get excited about seeing people get put out there. It just like I said. Anyway, so like I said, your community wants you to thrive. Here we have the 8 of Cups here. So I'm seeing somebody may be walking away in disillusionment, leaving behind, time for a change, that kind of thing. Just leaving some things behind. So here we have Judgment. Yeah. So you're leaving some things behind just for some clarity, awakening, to your purpose and those kind of things. this is kind of the reason. I won't say it's totally the reason. It takes a lot of courage to answer the call on your life, for real. That's why you know, for there's a lot of people, like I said, who demonize people who answer the call on their lives. I'm telling y'all see it on social media. When I make reference to, and thank you, let me just say this. Let me pause for a second and say this. Thank you to those of you all who add comments under my videos. I really appreciate it. Somebody had put a comment under my video, assuming at first, this is an example of first house. This is an example of first house. Somebody had assumed that when I mentioned celebrities' names, and just like, maybe you all should go look up these celebrities, they're phenomenal at what they do, that the assumption was saying, like, even though I didn't use the word idolize, I don't idolize anybody, but maybe that was the assumption. But the person came back and says, oh, basically they were apologizing, saying, oh, I saw the movie and it was actually a really good movie. Basically that they misunderstood what I was saying. That would be maybe an example of first impression, you know, whatever. Definitely don't advise anybody idolizing anybody. My point to you all is that when you answer the call on your life, people demonize what they don't understand. Somebody would not understand what you're called to do in this life, what your purpose is. Yeah. So they'll, like I said, their first impression is that there are a whole lot of first impressions. Whole lot of first impressions. Whole lot of first impressions. So, you have a lot of inner strength. You have a lot of inner strength. Your confidence is building. You know, you're focusing more. You're focusing more clear now. You have a lot more compassion for people who have been judged, you know, in the past. You're not judging other people. You've risen above the judgment. You have a lot more clarity now in just how somebody could not have told you what somebody, looking at the cards here, somebody couldn't have told you. So I feel like I'm what goes along with answering a call, for real, on your life. Here we have 9 of Wands. Yeah. Yep, 9 of Wands. And we have Page of Wands. So, yeah, 4 of Pentacles. So I see somebody learning how to be a lot more conservative with their time. Time is money. You're learning how to be a lot more conservative with your time. You're not burning up your days, you know, exhausting your time. When you see somebody as being, you know, you're not wasting your energy. You're not wasting your energy. So somebody's having an awakening. This is a Tower. Yep, not wasting your energy. Yep. So somebody is about to really, the sun is medicine. I think you all have another video, but the sun is medicine. Somebody is learning how to toss things into a burning bowl a lot sooner, and going outside and recognizing that sun is also fire. That's a medicine ball. Somebody is not sticking around to a point of exhaustion and a bunch of confusion. So going back to, you know, somebody basically saying, okay, I told you, you know, what I'm expecting in a report or whatever 50,000 times, you're still not getting it. Got it. Next time I'll send you an email, whatever, as you're looking for a new job, as you're looking for something else new. Because if you're in a job, you're a part of a community. They want you to thrive. Somebody thought that you were worthy to be somewhere. Source thinks that you're worthy of being where you are. And so just because other people see you as competition, they're, you know, so. Here we have partnerships. So I'm saying some kind of partnership coming across your path. Some kind of a business partnership coming across your path. So something is going to be a win-win for you. Yeah. And I see you going on a vacation. You're taking some time to recharge. Somebody's taking some time to recharge. You're taking some time to recharge. Your social status is improving. And I see money coming your way. So you investing your money wisely. So you investing your money wisely. Yep. So here we have investments here. So you're making some investment moves. And just kind of sort of the scales from your eyes have been removed. Scales from your eyes have been removed. And I see that you're an alchemist. You know how to transform. You know, so you're learning sources, secrets. You're learning to be wise. You're like somebody is praying for wisdom from source. And so somebody asks you anything that you want in the world, anything, you know, you're asking for source wisdom to make the right decisions. So that's what I have for you. That is what I have for you. Sending you lots of good energy for this week. Hopefully this has been helpful to you all. Hopefully this has been helpful, you know, to you all. So something is whatever you wish. I'm seeing a person that's sitting here in front of a tree, a big tree actually. When you lessen the importance of problems and suffering, life will swing back into balance, stop the struggle, and feel peace. The world responds to you. Yeah, so somebody is really learning how to embrace the divine feminine energy within them. Really learning to embrace. I'm talking to men and women. Really learning to embrace that within you. And balance it out, divine masculine to divine feminine energy. And behold the beauty of life. Just learning how to just receive. So time to act. So somebody is ascending. So you don't have to know everything in advance. So take the first step and watch it all unfold. You can deal with whatever your path reveals. You are ready. So time to act. So somebody's ascending higher. Looking at the cards here. So your heart path. It's not worth pursuing a path without passion. So somebody's definitely passionate about their purpose, whatever your purpose is. That's, you know, North Node. But this road will only lead you to uncertainty and frustration. So follow your heart and you can't go wrong. So I don't know what your purpose is. Only you know. Because you pulled your birth chart. So only you know. You will get there. So you can't force flowers to grow or plants to sprout. Be patient and respect that everything happens in its own way and time. That is what I have for someone. Again, make it a fantastic week. Make it a fantastic week. Make it a fantastic week. That is what I have for you. Hopefully this has been helpful. And like I said, your community wants you to thrive. And sending lots of love and light to everyone. All right. That's what I have for you. Bye.